Hello, friends. Welcome to today's episode of the Optimized Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Barnes, and today we are talking all about how to attract your ideal client. You're listening to the Optimized Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Barnes. I'm a customer journey marketing strategist, and I help you maximize sales by optimizing the customer experience. If you've been in the marketing space for some time, you've probably done something called an ideal client avatar. And the problem with this is that most people tend to do it incorrectly. So the big problem with the ideal client avatar exercise is that it typically doesn't go deep enough into who the ideal client avatar is. Now, the goal with this exercise is to really identify exactly what problems and challenges your ideal client is facing. Typically, a lot of exercises like to start off with something like age and gender and what are their favorite hobbies and what do they like, what are their favorite TV shows, and all of those are fun and helpful in creating life for your ideal client avatar, but it doesn't do much in terms of marketing. The best thing that you can do when creating an ideal client avatar is to really think about the transformation before they work with you. What is their life like? What are their problems and challenges that they're facing? And then where are they after they work with you? What problems have they solved? What challenges have they faced and overcome? Really, the goal of the ideal client avatar exercise is to really understand that transformation. What is the before? What is the after? And what does that transformation look like? One of the reasons why it's so helpful to truly understand your ideal client avatar is because it really helps with creating the sales copy for both your sales page and email marketing. Knowing this is going to help you talk to your ideal client. For example, let's say you're a graphic designer and you teach other business owners how to create graphics for their social media, for their sales page, etc., etc. Basically, you teach them how to create graphics that look good and sell. Now, one of the things that you're going to want to do is really get into the mind of this ideal client avatar. You really want to know exactly what their struggles are when it comes to design. So many people start with things like you struggle with finding good colors, you struggle with Canva, you spend hours in Canva, and you struggle to make something that looks good. And that's a good start, but you want to go a little bit deeper. Some specific examples include how Canva has like a million templates and they can never know which template is right for them. Then they finally find the right template, but then they make the changes with their information and it still doesn't look good. Right now, they're at a place where they've already spent tons of hours trying to create these graphics. Nothing looks good, but they're also at a place where they can't hire a designer because it's not in their budget. When you have a really good grasp on exactly what your ideal client is struggling with, it's a lot easier to create copy and write text that's going to resonate with them. One way you can do this is by talking to real people. Go out there, go into Facebook groups, see what kind of language they're using. What kind of things do they struggle with? What questions are they asking? And hop on a call with a few of them and see if they can give you a little bit more insight. Using really specific language is going to go a lot further than using semi-generic language. For example, earlier I used the example of Canva having a million templates and making it really difficult to choose, as opposed to saying something like you have a blank page and you don't know where to start. The first one is a lot more specific to Canva, and a lot of business owners really struggle with the idea of templates, whereas not so many struggle with the blank page. It's a little more generic and is not as specific to Canva. Now, let's look on the flip side of this and really talk about the transformation. The key to this and the key to selling your product or program is to talk about the transformation in which your program is the answer to their problem. So a lot of these ideal client exercises talk about what does your ideal client's dream life look like? And really the question should be, what does your ideal client's life look like after they've gone through the program with you? What specific things has your program solved for them? What specific problems and challenges have they overcome as a result of your program? Sometimes you really don't need to oversell your program. A lot of people think that clients want to sell $1 million worth of product by tomorrow, when really all they're looking for is to create a sustainable lifestyle, a sustainable business. So if you said something like, hey, I can help you make 60K in 6 months, something along those lines, it's a lot easier to digest than $1 million tomorrow. So, going back to the graphic design course for business owners, it's a lot easier for a business owner to accept the fact that you're going to help them build 30 days worth of social media graphics in a week, as opposed to, hey, we're going to build out all of the graphics for your business, including your sales page, including your social media, including your YouTube graphics. And we're going to do all of that in a week. That's a lot. And it sounds completely overwhelming because it is. So when you just scale it back, it's okay to scale it back and really use language like, hey, let's help you build out 30 days worth of social media content in a week. A lot more digestible, a lot easier to wrap their head around, and it'll resonate with your ideal client a lot more. Now, going back to the graphic design for business owners example and the after statement. So we already know what their life looks like before. They're struggling with graphics. It takes them forever. Now, the after, now they're creating graphics easily and seamlessly. It doesn't take them hours to find a template. They know exactly what they need to use. They know the concepts of design so that they can quickly and easily put together anything for social media, anything for their newsletter, anything for their sales page. And they know instinctively how to use colors and fonts to work well and seamlessly together. Truly understanding your ideal client is going to help you create that copy for your sales page, for your sales emails. What we just talked about, the before, where your client is before and where they are after, that's already written the first half of your sales page. Knowing this about our ICA will also help us create content as well for social media, for YouTube, etc. For example, you can answer the questions of like, what are the best templates to use for social media? What are the best templates to use for PDFs? You can also talk about what fonts work well together on the web, what fonts work best for social media, and you can talk about color palettes as well. So already this has informed so much of our content as well as our sales page. One of the reasons why I have you really think about how your product is that bridge between the problem that your ideal client is facing and the solution is because if there's a solution that they're looking for that's currently not included in your product or program, it's something that you want to consider including. On the flip side of that, if there's a solution that's in your program that your ideal client really isn't focused on, for example, if you have a module on color theory, but your ideal client really doesn't care too much about color theory, you don't necessarily need to highlight it or make it a core feature on the sales page. You can absolutely include it in your program, but when it comes to languaging and talking about, hey, you can learn the concept of color theory and how it applies to design, and it's not something that they're looking for, maybe it shouldn't be something that's an entire section on the sales page. On the other hand, if you have something that you know your ideal client should absolutely care about, put it in the context of how they are going to read it. For example, if you think color theory is super important, maybe talk about the so what behind it. Talk about why it's so important that they learn it. You could talk about, you're going to include this module on color theory so that when you create a sales page, everything looks seamless and cohesive and easily readable. So many times people pick and choose colors that look pretty but don't do well for readability. And this is very important because if a customer can't read it, then they're not going to buy it. Now, here's what I want you to do now. I want you to complete the ideal client avatar visualization exercise, which can be found inside the sales page optimization toolkit. You can get this toolkit straight at optimizedsalespage.com. Again, optimizedsalespage.com. It's one of the many exercises inside of there, but I have a worksheet specifically for the ideal client avatar visualization. What this visualization is going to help you do is really get into the mind of your ideal client avatar. And I really want you to use your imagination in this and put as much detail into it as much as possible. Basically, what the exercise does is have you really look at what your ICA's life looks like before they work with you, what it looks like when they find you, when they join your program, and what that transformation is after they finish your product or program. Now, the exercise itself sounds really simple, but it's the details that are really going to help bring this to life. Now, in the worksheet, I tell you to just set a timer for 5 minutes because if you try to set a timer for 30 minutes, you're probably not going to do it, honestly, and you're probably going to quit even 2 minutes into it. Whereas if you set a timer for 5, it's just long enough to help you kind of get that momentum, you can always go on for longer than 5 minutes, but just set a timer for 5 minutes. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably not a big fan of visualization and meditation. Some of you may be, but me personally, I am not. However, I do know that doing these exercises are super helpful, and using your imagination will activate certain things in your brain that will help you be more creative with copy, more creative with your sales page, more creative with those sales emails. So it's really important that you do this exercise and take it seriously and really bring in those rich details, because it's going to help you so much in your marketing. So to help you do this, I'll give you a little insight into my own ideal client avatar. My ideal client avatar, her name is Kate. She's 30 years old. She's a wellness coach, and she has a clean eating program that she wants to bring to the masses. She's been in the online space for about 2 years. She's signed up for various programs. She's signed up for programs that teach her how to build a course. She's signed up for programs about list building, Facebook ads, but she's not seeing the traction in her business that she feels like that she should at this point. She knows she's onto something, and she knows she has a great program, but she feels like there's something missing in her marketing strategy, but she can't pinpoint exactly what it is. She's looking for a program that'll give her guidance and clarity on exactly what she's missing. She really needs that one-on-one support. She really needs specific feedback. She's joined memberships and programs that offer Q&As, but she feels like the instructors don't give her the time that she really needs in order to make a true change in her business. What Kate is looking for is support that'll allow her to really see where the breakdown is in her marketing strategy. She really needs somebody who's going to take the time to look at her overall marketing strategy and figure out where to optimize it. So Kate finds me through a Facebook ad for the sales page optimization toolkit. She downloads it, she loves it. Then she finds out about this podcast, the Optimized Online Marketing Podcast, and she starts listening to the episodes and gets a lot of value from it. She also follows me on Instagram and really likes what I have to say about marketing. She really likes my marketing style, and she learns about the one-on-one feedback that she can get inside of the Optimized Online community. So she joins the membership, and she starts attending all of the Q&As, all of the coaching calls, and she's really interested in the one-on-one feedback. She starts submitting her marketing materials. She starts with her sales page, and she likes how I go through point by point every part of her sales page and really talk about where she can optimize it. She understands that at the price point, she's not going to get a fully comprehensive review. However, it's enough for her to make some changes and see some improvement. Kate continues to take full advantage of the membership. She continues to submit her different marketing assets, and at the end of the 6 months, she's already doubled her sales and doubled her conversion. And then after a year of working together, Kate is fully ready to jump into her business full time, and she's totally confident in her marketing strategies. I hope this episode helps you in creating your ideal client avatar. Now, if you're interested in the Optimized Online community, which I mentioned previously in my little avatar exercise, that is coming soon. Well, you'll hear more about that in later episodes. In the meantime, you can still get your sales page optimization toolkit at optimizedsalespage.com. Again, optimizedsalespage.com. That'll subscribe you to the VIP list, and you'll get the sales page toolkit as a freebie. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you for lending me your ears and your time. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.